Okay, so welcome back. This is lecture 3 of deductions from gross total income. So we'll be completing this chapter today. This is for CMA Intermediate June 2022 attempt. So I'll take you to the study material. We had finished till 80G, right? So after 80G, the next section is 80GG. Okay, so we'll finish this G sections today. Okay. Right, and then we'll move ahead as well. Okay, so so 80GG is deduction for house rent paid. Okay, it's deduction for house rent paid. Okay, and ये है आपका deduction for house rent paid. It is for any individual. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आप you can just write any individual means you don't have to see residential status, citizenship, anything. ठीक है, तो ये sentence की जरूरत भी नहीं है. We don't need this. Okay, you can just say any individual. ठीक है, okay. So it is for any individual. और conditions क्या है इसके? What are the conditions? He should not be getting any house rent allowance. ठीक है, because if he is getting house rent allowance, ठीक है, he will get HRA deduction. Okay, he's going to get HRA deduction there. ठीक है, so first condition is no HRA. Okay, this deduction can be claimed by only those people who have no HRA. ठीक है, no HRA is first thing. Then no house at the place of employment. Wherever his place of employment is there, okay, employment can be business also. Okay, there he should not have any house. Okay, so and so house belonging to him, his spouse or minor child. Now some people they buy a house in the name of their spouse or their child. Okay, so even house of belonging to him, his spouse or minor child will be treated as his own house. Okay, so there should be no house in his name, spouse's name, minor child's name. Okay, or HUF of which he is a member. Okay, so there should be no house in these names. Okay, where? कहाँ पे? In the place of his employment. So basically what you should remember is no house in the name of that person's spouse or minor child. This is the main thing. Okay, so here, okay, this is the place of employment. So can he have house except, I mean, not in the place of employment, but in some other place? Yes, he can have, but he cannot claim the benefit of self-occupied property. We know that we can claim 2 houses as self-occupied, correct? ठीक है, हाउस प्रॉपर्टी में हमने देखा था कि you can claim 2 houses as self-occupied. So here, or if you want to take deduction under 80GG, you cannot claim benefit under self-occupied house property. Okay, and last thing is proof for payment of rent. Declaration in form 10BA, okay, should be filed by him. Okay, so these are the 4 points, very short small points there. Okay, one is it is for any individual for house rent paid. Okay, conditions is one, no HRA received by him. Okay, or no house at the place of employment owned by himself, spouse or minor child. Okay, and if he has house at some other place, then he should not claim self-occupied property deduction. Okay, right? And last is show proof of payment of rent in form 10B. That's it. These are small 4 conditions. Okay, just remember इसमें और HRA में there is one main difference, that if you, ठीक है, in HRA there was 40% or 50% of salary based on whether the house is there in Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai or other place, correct? Here that is not there, so don't get confused if you are asked that the house is in say New Delhi. Okay, so कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. There's no difference whether house is in New Delhi or in any other place. Okay, in this case there is no such case like 40% or 50% of salary like we had in HRA. Okay, chalo, and so rent must be paid for a residential property. Okay, not for office property. This is for residential deduction. ठीक है, रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी डिडक्शन, ठीक है, not for office property. Now quantum, what is deduction here? Lower of 5,000 per month, 25% of adjusted GTI. Okay, adjusted GTI same as what we had seen earlier in the earlier section, same thing, adjusted GTI. Okay, so why you are using adjusted GTI here? There we used to say, now here the third point is, if you see, rent paid in excess of 10% of adjusted GTI. Here, why we are using adjusted GTI? Because you do not have salary here. So this deduction is not just for salaried employee, it can be used for anyone. Okay, any employee who is not receiving HRA can use this. Okay, so then he might not have a salary, but he will have a gross total income, correct? So which is why यहाँ पे gross total income is used. There in HRA, it was salary that was the basis, correct? 40% of salary, rent paid in excess of 10% of salary, right? So here it is adjusted GTI. The three things, remember 5,000 per month, that is 60,000 per year it is. Okay, 25% of adjusted GTI, and third point is rent paid minus 10% of adjusted GTI. Okay, adjusted GTI computation, same like we saw in the previous section. Okay, take the gross total income, okay, reduce LTCG and reduce STCG under 111 capital A, okay, these two things. So basically these two are capital gain components, okay, and after that just reduce all deductions under section 80, okay, except this deduction, because this is what you are computing, right? So except this, take all other deduction. Okay, and this is income under section 115A, AB, AC. As I said, this is in the nature of some non-residents income or certain foreign companies income. Okay, so आपके लिए this is not very important. Okay, just remember this much, because details of these sections are not there for you. Just remember, if you can, just remember 115 series, 115. Okay, 115A, AB, AC. Okay, so this is, so in wherever you get these kind of problems, you will not have any item under this. This is just there. Okay, so you will not have any item from this. You will have items from LTCG, STCG under 111A, and they might give you one or two deductions at the most. Okay, so that is what is important for you. Okay, okay. So isme there is one point that while calculating adjusted GTI, casual income will be included. Okay, see here in gross total income, everything is there. Casual income, all income are there in gross total income. Okay, so all income comes in gross total income. What are you removing? You are removing only LTCG and STCG taxable under 111 capital A. You are removing deductions under 80. Okay, and just ignore this for the moment. Okay. यही तो आप रिमूव कर रहे हो ना, this is what you are removing. Okay, that means what you are not removing, all other things are there in gross total income, which means your casual income is also there in gross total income. Okay. Normally casual income is excluded in most cases, but here while calculating adjusted GTI, casual income is there. Okay, is there as a part of adjusted GTI. Okay, so अब अच्छा इसके बाद एक पॉइंट है, छोटा सा पॉइंट है ये, इफ देयर इज एनी कंसेशन प्रोवाइडेड बाय रेंट. ठीक है, when concession is provided in rent, what do? We calculate perquisite value. ठीक है, in salaries if employer provides you concessional rent. ठीक है, so what do? We first calculate the value of perquisite, correct? Once you get the value of perquisite, you deduct the rent taken from the employer, correct? So here also rent paid, okay, shall be deducted while valuing such perquisite. This treatment will be there as per salaries. Okay, but okay, if these conditions are fulfilled, then he will also get deduction under this section. These conditions means those four conditions. Okay, ये जो आपके these four conditions are fulfilled. Okay, then he will, if these four conditions are fulfilled, then what will happen? Okay, he might be charged for perquisites. Okay, but he will also get deduction under this. Okay, इसमें बस you have to see nothing else. If these conditions are fulfilled, he will get deduction under 80 GG. ठीक है, there's no other thing we have to see. चलो, so that's it. Yeah, so this point is then he is eligible for deduction under 80 GG. ठीक है, so if accommodation is provided at concessional rent, then perquisite you have to compute for salaries. ठीक है, okay, and whatever amount of rent is paid, just deduct for valuing perquisite, that is separate. Apart from that, he will get deduction under this section. ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी उसको deduction मिलेगा. Okay, so for this section, just see those 4 conditions. If those 4 conditions satisfied, he'll get deduction. So चलो, then we'll see a problem. यहाँ पे ठीक है, so compute total income of Bajaj of Delhi. So that's what I said. Whether it is Delhi, whether it is Hyderabad, whether it is say Chennai, whether it is any small town, okay, no problem. ठीक है, here in this section there is no role of city, okay, as is there in house rent allowance. Because in house rent allowance you have to take 40% for other cities, 50% for Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, right? Here that is not there. ठीक है, तो चलिए, so what is the, they have given us some heads. PGBP, house property, ठीक है, let out and situated at Kolkata. Okay, so no, don't worry about the place of the city name here. ठीक है, so income from house property is 40,000. Okay, and income from other sources is 10,000. Okay, these 3 are his income. Okay, and then next what they have given is rent paid for office. Okay, this deduction is not for office rent, it is for residential rent. So this is what we don't need. Okay, cut it off. So rent paid for residential houses 40,000. Okay, so we have to see how much deduction he'll get for this 40,000 now. Okay, so first of all here so इतना ही है इसमें. I think this will see down. Yeah, so the first thing यहाँ पे you can just see just total of these three. Just total of these three will be his gross total income. 80,000 plus 40,000 plus 10,000, 1,30,000. Okay, this will be his gross total income. Achha, in this, do you see long-term capital gain? There is no capital gain itself. Okay, while calculating adjusted GTI, okay, you don't have to use, you don't have either long-term capital gains or short-term under 111 capital. That 2 things are not there. Okay, so is there any other section 80 deduction? Any other deduction can you see here in these 5 items? No, so that is also not there. So basically in this problem, while calculating adjusted GTI, I'm just taking a little up here. See, in adjusted GTI, what all we have? Okay, here you don't have long-term capital gain, you don't have short-term capital gain. Okay, you don't have this also deductions, and you don't have this also. Okay, that means what? Adjusted GTI is equals to gross total income. Gross total income itself will become your adjusted GTI in this problem. Okay, okay. What is gross total income? 80,000 plus 40,000 plus 10,000. So let's see. That is 1,30,000. So gross total income is 1,30,000. Okay. You get 1,30,000 or then okay. Next, so gross total income, just add all 3. You will get this 1,30,000. Next deduction is under section 80 GG that we have to compute now. Okay. So let us compute reduction. ठीक है, इसमें क्या रहेगा? The 3 points. One is 5,000 per month. Remember carefully, it is per month. Okay. And entertainment allowance, it is year. Entertainment allowance 5,000 is for the year. This is 5,000 per month. Okay. 5,000 per month. That is 12 5 is 60,000. Okay. So lower of the following we have to see list of the following. 25% of adjusted GTI. Adjusted GTI is same as your GTI we just saw. 25% of 1,30,000 is 32,500. Last is rent paid in excess of 10% of salary. 10% of salary, sorry, 10% of adjusted GTI. Okay. So adjusted GTI is 30,000, 1,30,000. 10% of that will be how much? 13,000. Rent paid is given as 40,000. So 40,000 minus 13,000. 1,30,000 into 10% is 13,000. Okay. 40,000 minus 13,000 is 27,000. Least of the three is what? 27,000. This is the deductible amount. That's how we got 27,000 here. Okay. And then his total income will be 1,03,000. Got it? This is how you have to compute this section 80G. Okay. Next is deduction under section 80GGA. Okay. So this is for donations given for scientific research kind of things. Okay. Rural development, okay, scientific research, those kind of things. Donations which have been given. Okay. And the entire donation is deductible. Okay. Now, इसमें एक खासियत है, there is one important, then one speciality in this section. It is applicable only to that person who is not having any PGBP income. Okay. He can have income under the other four heads, but should not have PGBP income. Okay. That is the condition for 80GGA. Okay. It's very simple. Okay. So conditions are he has paid any sum for rural development. Okay. Rural development for is paid to approved institution or association which is engaged in a rural development program. Okay. One is what words you should look out for: approved institution or association. Okay. For approved rural development program. For this, he should have paid money. Okay. And he has to furnish a certificate as referred in 35 CCA. If you remember, हमने PGBP में पढ़ा था section 35 CCA. Okay. Just important point here is he has paid money for rural development to an approved institution or association and has furnished the certificate. Okay. Under section 35 CCA, even if you don't remember 35 CCA, that's okay. Okay. ये हो गया पहला point. He has given money to approved institution and association which is engaged in rural development program. Okay. For rural development. Second is he has paid for approved institution or institution, okay, which is giving training to persons for implementing rural development program. Okay. So this both 35 CCA we have seen in PGBP. Okay. So first thing kya hai? It is engaged in rural development program. Second thing is the approved association or institution is giving training to these people who are engaged in approved rural development program. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? What is the first two points which we have got? What is the SSC has paid a sum to approved institution or association, okay, which is engaged in rural development program or which is giving training to people, okay, for implementing rural development program. Okay, बस इतना ही. This is the important point here. Okay, so these two are about what? Rural development program. Okay, और यहाँ पे third point is he has directly given money to notified rural development fund. That's it. ठीक है, ये हो गया. So rural development is the first thing. Then it is poverty eradication. Okay, so it's given notified national urban poverty eradication fund. ठीक है, he has given donation to notified national urban poverty eradication fund. ठीक है, just look for reference to poverty eradication. ठीक है, that is enough. फिर ये जो है scientific research So these are those scientific research in scientific research section 35. What we have seen is हमने देखा था either it can be in-house scientific research or through outside institutions. So here we are talking about the outside institutions part. ठीक है? So scientific research, research association, university, college, etc. Okay. For this he has given, or for social science and scientific research. Okay. He has given for this purpose to a approved research association. Okay. Either approved research association or same thing what I've underlined here. Okay? University, college or other institution. So यानी second first part में is rural development, second part में poverty eradication directly to the fund, third and fourth these two are for scientific research or social science and statistical research. ठीक है? Given to research association, university, college or institution. ठीक है? Approved research association, university, college or other institution. ठीक है? बस इतना ही. This is the main summary you need to know here. इसमें पूरा ये याद करने की, और you don't have to go in detail. Okay, and don't worry about the sections also here. So basically you just need to know the gist of it. Okay, ये सब हो गया. So these the first four are particular purposes, right? Rural development, poverty eradication, scientific research. Both are scientific research and social science statistical research. ठीक है? Last is other than this, if he is giving, that is last thing is for other purpose. Other than the above four, if he is giving to a public sector company or a local authority or association or institution which is approved by the national committee for carrying out eligible project. Okay. Okay. So this is the main thing here. Other purpose, it should be a public sector company, local authority or an association or institution approved by national committee. Okay. For this, if he is giving for an eligible project, again, okay, he has to obtain a certificate from them. Okay. So इसमें ये last point में इतना याद रख लेना, just he has to obtain a certificate from them. Okay. So actually speaking, he will have to give some proof that he has given money for all of this. Okay, very common point. So nothing special here. Just other purpose में just remember public sector company, local authority or association or institution approved by national committee. Okay, for eligible scheme. That's it. So if he is giving donation to these 5 things which we have seen, okay, then amount actually paid is fully deductible. Full deduction. Whatever donation he has given, it is fully deductible. Okay. And up to 2,000, if you want to give donation up to 2,000, you can give in cash. If donation is more than 2,000, full thing has to be in mode other than cash. Okay. And then ये last 2 points जो है ये हमने already देख चुके हैं. Okay. This is like we have seen this in scientific research and those kind of things. If approval is withdrawn later on after he got deduction, deduction will not be withdrawn. Okay. The approval to the scientific association or something, the approval is withdrawn subsequently, the deduction which he got, it will not be withdrawn. That's my point. And this risk verification is income tax authority. Okay, your income tax authority can directly verify it from the association to whom you have given donation, whether this person has given you donation or not. That is risk verification. That's all. Okay. So this is what about this section. Okay. This is called as 80 CCA. Okay. Sorry, GGA. Sorry. 80 GGA. This is G series going on. Okay. GGA. This is GGA. Okay. Next is GGB. Okay. GGB and GGC are very, very similar. Both are contribution to political parties. Okay. So now GGB में contribution to political parties. Speciality is applicable only to Indian company. Only to Indian company. Okay. And he has contributed some other than cash. Should not be in cash. Okay. Okay. To any political party or electoral trust. 100% deduction he'll get. That's simple. And the next one, which is 80 GGC, contribution given by any person to political parties. So you know here it is for Indian company only, right? So here this section just covers other people also. Okay. For again same thing, it is same political donation only. Okay. So here who is it is applicable to all SSC except local authority and every artificial juridical person wholly or partly funded by the government. Okay. Only these two are exceptions. Apart from this, everyone will get it. Okay. So again, here also all conditions are same by any mode other than cash. Okay. To political party or electoral trust. There's no change. Only thing is that was for Indian company. This is for all SSC. Only exceptions are local authority. Okay. Local authority is the government. Okay. Its government cannot give donation to political parties. Okay. And here also artificial juridical person, which is funded by the government. So more or less it is of a government nature, which is why only for these two you will not get deduction for donation to political parties. So yeah, apart from that you will get. And here see that in this section you can see that Indian company has not been excluded specifically. Okay, but because there is a specific section for Indian company, if it is an Indian company, you should go to the previous section 80 JGB. Okay, not to 80 JGC. So you'll get deduction only once. Again, deduction is 100% of the contribution. Okay, this ends our G series. Okay, this ends our what? G series. So next is section 80IA. Okay, 80IA. So this deductions for profits and gains from industrial undertakings engaged in infrastructure development, etc. Okay, these are basically what infrastructure development companies. So यहाँ पे जो I series है 80IA, okay, IAB, IAC, these are all, they start from I, right? So I, you can just think that I is for infrastructure development. Okay, so ये है आपका section 80IA और deduction is given for industrial undertaking engaged in these businesses. ठीक है, any of these three group of businesses are covered under section 80IA. Okay, so if you invest in these three businesses, you will get deduction under section 80IA. So one is infrastructure facility. Okay, second is industrial parks or SEZ. Third is power generation, transmission and distribution. Okay, we'll see this one by one, starting with infrastructure facility. Okay, first is infrastructure facility. So who is this applicable to? To whom is this applicable to? Indian company or a group of companies. Okay, Indian company or a group of companies. Okay, because many times why group of companies? Because investing in these things is very, very costly. So many times some certain number of companies come together for these kind of investments. Okay, kind of a joint venture. Okay. So in Indian company or consortium of companies or a statutory company. Okay, Indian company or a statutory company. That's all. Now for statutory company, that is a government company. You can also have you have boards, corporations, etc. Right, to manage those things. Okay, so yeah, ऐसा कुछ नाम भी आपका आ सकता है for statutory corporation like board, corporation, like that. Okay, ठीक है. So basically, infrastructure facility किसके लिए, to whom is it applicable? Applicable for Indian company or a group of such companies or government companies. That is body established in the central or state act means a statutory corporation, basically statutory corporation. ठीक है? उसमें for statutory corporation you can have things like board, etc. Board authority. Okay. इस तरह से उसका नाम आ सकता है. So basically it will be an authority board of government. Okay, अथॉरिटी और बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट. आप बस इसको स्टैट्यूटरी कॉर्पोरेशन, जस्ट रिमेंबर इट एज स्टैट्यूटरी कॉर्पोरेशन. वेरी सिंपल. इंडियन कंपनी, ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज और स्टैट्यूटरी कॉर्पोरेशन. ठीक है. ओके, बस इतना ही है एप्लीकेबल टू दीज थिंग्स. ठीक है. नाउ what are the conditions? So nature of business should be, it should either develop, okay, developing, operating and maintaining, and or both of these together. That is developing, operating and maintaining. What? An infrastructure facility. So basically here, who will get deduction? A company which has developed this facility, okay, or some other company has developed it and has transferred to this company for operating and maintaining. Okay. Or third is the company has developed also, it is itself operating or maintaining it as well. Okay. So ये तीन चीज हो सकता है. और यहीं पे I'll just tell you one more thing. Okay. Here it should have, the SSC should have an agreement, okay, with the central or state government. Here for this purpose, same thing, it should have an agreement with the central or state government. Okay, जैसे ये देखिए यहाँ पे लिखा है, मैं बताता हूँ. I'll just show you here the second point. Okay, here it has an agreement, it should have an agreement with CG or SG or local authority or any other statutory body. ठीक है, for the same thing. So इसलिए point 2 को cut करके what we can do, we can just say here itself that for this purpose it should have an agreement with CG, SG, local authority. Okay. Okay, तो ये हो गया. 2 points we have covered. And what is an infrastructure facility? ठीक है, we have seen this definition earlier. ठीक है. So infrastructure facility means what? Road including toll road, bridge or rail system. ठीक है. Infrastructure basically यही सब रहेगा. रेल लाइन बिछाना और रेल लाइनिंग और highways. ठीक है. Things like that, that is called as infrastructure facility. Or a line for, you know, all those things we had, long pipeline, sewerage line, all that all comes under infrastructure facility. Okay. This is toll road and all, bridge. And second is highway project with housing and other activities being an integral part. So as you know, you build a highway project, okay, along with it you also have housing or other facilities, so that, you know, you, just to develop that area more. So the plan itself is like that. We'll build a highway and then there will be certain housing projects also closer to the highway. Okay. और ये है, third is water supply, irrigation, sewerage, all those things. Okay. Then last is port, airport, inland waterway, inland port. Okay. So this, the last point is about ports, airports, things like these. Okay. Okay. So चलिए, so ये हो गया. This is what your infrastructure facility means. As such, इसको याद करने की तो बिल्कुल जरूरत है ही नहीं. You don't need to learn. Just remember like that. It will be like toll road, bridge. This will be one. Second will be housing project. Okay, along with highway project. Okay, highway project with housing project. Third will be your water supply, sewerage, all these things. Okay. Fourth will be your water transport things like port, airport, these kind of things. Okay. These are all infrastructure facilities. The SSC must develop, operate and maintain or both. Okay, it should do these things for all these four kind of infrastructure facilities. Any of these four. Okay. The agreement, I've already told you that they should have an agreement with the central government. This section is a bit long, so just do it the way I am telling you. I'll tell you in short, okay, the way you can remember easily for the exam. Okay. Pura aap padhne jaoge, so it will be, this section is very long. Okay. So then commencement of business, okay, it must start commencement of business, okay, on or after 1/4/1995, but before 1/4/2017. Okay, for other sections also you will have this date before 1/4/2017. So this you can remember. Okay, there will be more dates here, so the significance of dates is less in this section. Okay, so ये नहीं माना जाएगा कि आपको ये सारे डेट्स याद हो. ओके, दैट्स नॉट व्हाट द पर्पस इज, दैट यू विल रिमेंबर ऑल दीज डेट्स. ओके, ठीक है. सो ये है. एंड व्हाट इज द डिडक्शन? डिडक्शन टेबल भी मैं आपको जस्ट टेल यू इन सिंपल वे. ओके, सो for different types of infrastructure projects, deduction, the period of deduction is different. Here it is case, how much deduction and period of deduction. Okay, three things are there. So yes, if the infrastructure facility is port, airport, the last one, okay, last one which we saw, all water related, water transport related. If this is there, that's one. And then second is your highway project, okay, housing plus highway project, that one, okay. And third is anything other than these two. So the other two categories will come in the last one, okay. So last one is any other facility, okay. So what is the quantum of deduction? How much deduction you will get for all of this? You will get deduction is 100% of the profit. Okay. So full profit of the business you can claim as deduction. Okay. 100% of the profit is the same for all three of them. Okay. 100% of the profit. For how many years can you claim it? For only 1 year? How many years profit you can claim? That is shown in the next para. Okay. So here you will get for any 10 consecutive years out of 15 years. Okay. So this 10 out of 15 will be there in some more sections here. Okay. So this is something you should remember. So you can take for any 10 consecutive years out of 15 years, commencing from the year when undertaking begins to operate. Okay. When the undertaking becomes operational, like when you are building a port, the port becomes operational. So that is called becoming operational. It is that facility can be started to be used. Okay. So from that year when you can start to use it, you will get deduction for 10 years out of 15 years. Why this is like that? Why it is given like the 10 out of 15? See, when you're in the starting stages, the profit will be less. Okay. So even if you give deduction, the benefit will not be that much. These are all huge facilities. Gradually it becomes popular. The traffic increases then. Okay. So which is why you are telling them take any 10 years or 15 years of the first 15 years. Normally people will take the last 10 years of the 15 years. They will take the last 10 years. Why? Because profit will be more. That's why. Okay. So 10 out of 15 years है यहाँ पे. Okay. Second thing is 10 out of 20 years. Okay. For housing thing, it is 10 out of 20 years. You are getting a leeway of 20 years in for housing project, but there are some conditions. We'll see the conditions. The conditions are there only for housing project. Third one is same as the first one, 10 out of 20 years. Okay. So from the year when undertaking begins to operate. Okay, all these are from the year when undertaking begins to operate. ठीक है, simple. चलो यही है. और इसके कुछ conditions है वो देखते हैं. For housing project, there are some conditions. Okay, it's only there for housing project. That's all. Highway plus housing project. Okay, so conditions are profit shall be computed in the prescribed manner. Okay, to compute profit in the prescribed manner. Okay, profit must be transferred to special reserve account. Every year when you get profit, first transfer it to special reserve account. Okay, and utilize the special reserve account, the profit which you have transferred, utilize it for highway project excluding housing. So this is two things, right? Combination of two things. One is highway, second is what? Housing project. Two things are there, right? So here you exclude housing. Okay, excluding housing, you have to use that profit amount for highway project. Okay, and that should be used fully for 3 years. Okay, after the end of the year in which you have transferred the amount. Okay, after the end of the year when you have transferred the amount to special reserve account. From that point, for 3 years, within 3 years, you should have used this profit for highway project. Then you will get complete deduction. Okay, this is the condition for this. Okay, or last condition is SSE must maintain separate accounts. Maintain separate accounts. Okay, and submit certificate in form 10CCC from an accountant. Okay, in this form, what are you going to highlight? What is the amount credited to the reserve account and what is the amount utilized for the highway project? In 3 years, you will be using the amount, right? What is the amount credited and what amount is used for the highway project? That you will have to highlight in this thing. These are the 4 points, okay, 4 conditions which are there for highway plus housing project. Okay, okay. Next is how to compute profit. ठीक है, तो इसमें जो फर्स्ट पॉइंट वाज यहाँ पे जो हमने देखे थे, प्रॉफिट शैल बी कंप्यूटेड इन द प्रिस्क्राइब्ड मैनर. करेक्ट, प्रिस्क्राइब्ड मैनर हमने देखे थे. सो व्हाट इज, हाउ विल यू कंप्यूट इट, दैट इज बीइंग शोन हियर. Okay, so when annual profits can be computed in a with the regular method. Normally you can compute annual profit in a normal way. You can compute annual profit, then just use provisions of Companies Act, okay, to calculate profit. So pehla wala is straightforward, you're not changing anything, just use the normal provisions of PGBP to compute profit, okay, first. But where you cannot calculate annual profits by the regular method, because these are long-term projects, no? So sometimes there is a problem, you will not be able to compute it directly. Okay, so if you are not able to compute annual profits directly, then what you will do is use percentage of completion method. In contract account, if you remember, we use percentage of completion method for long-term contract. So that should be used. Okay, just remember that. Okay, chaliye, then for last point is, so you are putting the amount in a special reserve and you have to use in 3 years. Correct. What if you did not utilize it? If it is not utilized, then it will be deemed as profit of the previous year in which the transfer to reserve took place. Okay. So basically, like, you have put the amount here, they are talking about this. You have put the amount in the reserve. Okay, you put the amount in the reserve until the end of the year you did not use. Okay, if you did not use, then it will be treated as taxable income of the previous year in which the transfer to reserve took place. Okay, so they have not highlighted more than that here because that much of detailing is not there for you. Okay, so basically, but it will be like first year whatever you have transferred. Okay, आपको at the end of first year it will be transferred to P&L. Then you have 3 years to transfer, correct? Then you have got second year and you have got third year. Okay, so at the end of third year, actually whole thing will get transferred at the end of third year. Okay, but you can just go as per this. इसमें आपको कोई और detailing नहीं है. You don't need to detail it more than this. Okay, to just say that if it is reserve is not so utilized, then unutilized amount will be taxable as the income of the previous year in which the transfer to reserve took place. That's all. Okay, okay. इसके बारे में हमको we don't have to go into too much of depth यहाँ पे. Okay, चलो ठीक है. So now second is industrial park or special economic zone. So when we started reading this, we saw that there are three kinds of business. Correct? For section 80 Iyer, there were 3 kinds of business. So first business we have just completed. Taking you up just to show you. Okay, not here. This is where we started, correct? है ना? इसमें for these 3 businesses, deduction is available under 80 Iyer. Okay. So for these 3 businesses, now we have completed infrastructure facility. Now we are going to second industrial parks or SEZ. Okay. Then last will be power generation, transmission and distribution. Okay, so now we are going to what? Industrial parks or SEZ. Okay, so these two are shorter now. Okay, longer one is over, and all conditions will be like this. So now next ones will be little easier. The second is industrial park or SEZ. Okay, and this is applicable to all SSCs. Okay, this deduction is applicable to all SSCs. So ये जो condition second वाला जो है, this is actually the section is 80 IAB. First one was 80 IA, right? ये जो है, this comes under 80 IAB. Okay. So conditions is nature of business should be developing and operating or maintaining. Developing also and operating or maintaining. Okay, and third one is only operating. Okay, what? Same thing, industrial park or SEZ, and it must be what? Notified by the central government. Okay, this is an additional point here. Must be notified by the central government. Okay. So when commencement of business, again here two dates are given. As I said, not very important for you to remember the dates. Okay, you just know the provisions. So commencement of business should start between these dates. Okay. If it is an industrial park, then this is the date range, and for SEZ, this is the date range. Okay, right? And how much is the deduction? Same, 100% of profit from 10 out of 15 years. Okay. From the year when undertaking begins to operate. This is the same common thing. So quantum of deduction is like common, so you can. Okay. So आपको इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं जाएगा ऐसे. सर जैसे ये जो years है, इसको याद करने की कोशिश मत करो. You will not be expected to know these years exactly. ठीक है. So problem will come in a way that you will not be asked this period. You will only be asked the provisions. ठीक है. Like you will be asked ये 10 out of 15 years है. This you can be asked. ठीक है. These kind of things. Okay. So year पूछने का chance नहीं है. Okay. This. Because इतना ही नहीं और भी years है. Next you will have more years. So it's not possible humanly to remember all these years. Okay. चलो. But that's all. Last में बस ये बताया from the date of application of 80 IAB. That is, this section was introduced later after 80 IA. So what they are saying is after 80 IAB, deduction will not be available under 80 IA for SEs, right? So now earlier, this is an earlier thing that 80 IA deduction, in 80 IA, cess deduction was also being given earlier on. Okay. So that's why now that a special section has been introduced for this 80 IAB. So from 1/4/2005, okay, SEZ deduction will only, you'll get SEZ deduction only in 80 IAB. So okay, this is basically not important for you as such. Okay. Sure. Because you know now that SEZ deduction is now in 80 IAB already, right? Okay. The next is the third one, power generation, transmission and distribution. This is the third one, also applicable to all SSC. Okay. Conditions, nature of business. Okay. It is set up for generation and distribution of power in India. Okay. Okay. It should be set up in India. You can just ignore, that's not a condition, you know that it has to be set up in India. And see, there are again dates. Commencement of business, for generation of power, this is the range. Transmission or distribution, by laying new transmission or distribution lines. Okay. This is this, and substantial renovation and modernization. That is this range. And what is substantial renovation and modernization? It means that whatever transmission and distribution lines you are laying, okay, you have to increase in plant and machinery in the network by at least 50% of book value of plant. 50% is added. So that will be considered a substantial renovation and distribution. Okay. And what is the start date from which you will reckon this 50%? This is 1/4/2004. Okay. So starting from 1/4/2004, okay, anytime before this end date, 31/3/2017, if you have laid about 50% more book value of plant and machinery in the lines, then you will get this deduction on this point. ओके ठीक है. So again ये years को ignore कर सकते हैं आप. Okay, but as I said that all these deductions are before 1/4/2017, correct? I said before 1/4/2017. So you can easily remember this 31/3/2017. This is kind of the last date. These deductions were given to spur this up, but now it is not required. ठीक है. Okay, so हालांकि ये लास्ट डेट है कि यहाँ here also you will get it for 15 years. Okay, so which is why now nobody can take this deduction. Okay, but the people who have taken already, they will be getting deduction. Right? They will have 15 years time. Okay, and then one more important condition is it should be a new business. Okay, that is not be formed by splitting or reconstruction of existing business. Okay, new business, remember that. Business should also be new, and for plant and machinery use should also be new. Okay, so this is new business. One by one I'll show you. This exception of new business is not applicable. Okay? This new business condition is not applicable in these cases. Okay? One is reconstruction of state electricity board or state electricity board. Okay? Because it's government, so it has an exemption. Okay, so it can form after reconstruction. Okay, this condition is not applicable for this. Okay, and for others, okay, if this has happened, that is the industrial undertaking was discontinued in any previous year because of what? This flood, typhoon, riot, okay, accidental fire, action by enemy action, okay, all these things, right? So any major calamity like this, because of that it got discontinued, and then they have restarted the business. So which is why they are using some of the existing things. Okay, so in this case it is allowed. There are two exceptions for this new business. Okay, मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि for the new business we have got two exceptions. Okay, one is what? State electricity board. Okay, it can form by splitting up or reconstruction, no problem. And secondly, if the undertaking was discontinued because of these calamities, these four calamities, okay, then it is allowed. Two things may allowed. That's all. Okay. Chalo. So and okay, and then isme jo hai, so if they are re-establishing it here because of this flood typhoon, they are re-establishing it. They have been given a 3-year time. Okay, so they can reconstruct at any time before 3 years from the end of the previous year when damage is caused. Okay, when the whatever flood, typhoon, all this happened in whichever previous year, from the end of that previous year, so you have 3 years time to reconstruct the business. Okay, okay. Now, this is about reconstruction of entire business you are talking about. Second is a little limited point, new plant and machinery. Only use of new plant and machinery. Okay, so it should not use used plant and machinery. So new plant and machinery. What is the exception here? Exception for new plant and machinery. One is again state electricity board. If it is reconstruction of state electricity board, then it is allowed. Both are allowed. Okay, reconstruction is also allowed. You can use old plant and machinery also. Okay, old also can be used. So new is not essential for state electricity board. Okay. Or second is, and you will a plant and machinery will be treated as new asset if it is imported into India. Okay, and depreciation has not been allowed under the income tax act. Okay, it has been imported into India and no depreciation has been allowed in income tax act. It might have been used in a foreign country, that is okay, but in India it has not been used. Okay, and SSC is the first user in India, and no depreciation as per Indian Income Tax Act has been allowed. SSC is the first user. Okay, these conditions you have seen before also, correct? Right? So आपको याद आ रहा होगा ये सर, all these are similar conditions. Okay, ठीक है, right? So these ये exception है. And last thing is ये भी चीजें आपने you have seen this, the total value of old plant and machinery transferred to new business. ठीक है, they can use old plant and machinery up to 20% of the total plant and machinery. So up to 20% of old, if they are using, it will be considered as new, as it will be considered that this condition is satisfied. ठीक है, these are the three things here. And deduction again बिल्कुल same चीजें हैं. Okay, same thing, copy and paste. Deduction 100% of the profit. ठीक है, for any 10 consecutive years out of 50. Okay, it is always commenced from the year when the undertaking begins to operate. ठीक है, remember this point, from the year undertaking begins to operate. It's a common line for everything. Okay, ठीक है, चलो ठीक है. So और यहाँ पे this is one note here. Okay, if it is engaged in transmission or distribution, okay, by laying a network, ठीक है, that is doing transmission work. ठीक है, so if it is doing transmission, that means the business is already existing. So whatever new lines they are laying, new areas, whatever it is laying, the deduction will be only for the new lines. Correct? Deduction shall be limited to extent of profit derived from the laying of new lines. Okay, but old lines you will not have. Okay, okay, for electricity companies and all, you already have lots of existing lines. Whenever you are laying any new lines, this will be applicable for that. Okay, चलो उतना ही है. चलो ये हो गया हमारा, that is your TIAB. Okay, the next is undertaking setup for reconstruction or revival of power generating unit. ठीक है, तो ये नाम ही बता रहा है आपको, it is revival of power generating unit. So power generating unit, ठीक है, which is not functioning properly, for revival of that. ठीक है, तो उसको to make it to आप बोल सकते हो kind of to repair it so that it works at full efficiency. Otherwise it is loss making currently. Okay, so that is called as reviving. So it's applicable to Indian company, and there are some conditions for this. One is company is formed before 30/11/2005. ठीक है, और इसमें with majority equity participation by public sector companies. ठीक है, this Indian company will have majority partnership of public sector companies. So that is it will be a public company, public sector company, you can say. Okay, where that is one thing. Okay, and why it is done is for enforcing security interest of lenders of the old company. Okay, so old company के जो lenders है, ठीक है, they have lent money for the power generating unit. Now the company is not working properly. ठीक है, so now they want their money back. Okay, so they want their money back. So for that purpose, यहाँ पे they will start a new company. So these companies will come in, they will assure the creditors, no, this will function well. We are bringing in new capital. Okay, give us some 3-4 years, whatever, and we'll reconstruct it and it will work well. Just okay, give them a reconstruction plan. Okay, for the creditors. Okay, right? So that आपका investment doesn't go out. Okay, इसीलिए some other public sector companies will come into the picture and reconstruct it. बस उतना ही है इसमें. Okay, right? So here now company is notified by 31/12/2005 by central government. Okay, so of course it will be a public sector company, it will get notified, not a problem. Okay, ठीक है. It must be set up for reconstruction or revival. That is there, we know, heading में ही है वो, right? And undertaking begins to generate or transmit power before 31/3/2011. That has started the work, you can say, by the end of by the end of 2005, but before 31/3/2011 it should be up and running. That is the condition for this. Okay. What is deduction, which we already know, that 10 out of 15 years. Okay. 100% of the profit for 10 out of 15 years. Remember, it is 10 consecutive years. Okay. यानी ऐसा नहीं है कि you can in 15 years you can take 1 year now, leave next year, then take the third year. Like that you cannot do. Okay, it will be any 10 continuous years. Okay, you can do from 6 to 15 years, that is fine. Okay, you can do from 1 to 10, you can do from 2 to 11. Okay, but it has to be continuous. Okay, चलो, so ये बस इतना ये है यहाँ पे. Only thing is you can say that the power generating unit is not functioning well, so some public sector companies are coming together, forming a company to revive it. Okay, in that case that profit is fully exempted. That's it, short way. Okay, so chalo, now other points for eligible undertaking under 80IA for all. So 80IA is the parent section, which ठीक है, इसका जो parent section है हमारा, right? So इसमें for entities eligible under 80IA, okay, some other things are required. One is return on income has to be furnished before the due date. Okay, filing of return of income. Second is form CCB में, certificate in form CCB from CA. Okay, 1 month prior to due date of submission of return. Okay, these two things are required. One is file your return of income within the due date, then chartered accountant certificate in 10 CCB 1 month prior to the due date. That's it. Okay. Chalo. And here the third one is just takes care of any, you can say, any wrong measures. Okay. Third point takes care of any wrong measures. Okay, to get exemption. Okay. How to address that? So in the following cases, AO may recompute profit. He has the power to recompute profit in these two cases. Okay. So first, let us see case 1. Okay. So case 1 is transaction between two undertakings of same SSC. Case 2 is transaction between two independent SSCs. Okay. That we will see next. Let us see case 1. Transaction between two undertakings of same SSC. Okay. Condition says he has at least two undertakings. One is eligible and at least one is not eligible. Okay. Under 80IA. So for one here it is eligible, for one it is not eligible. Okay. See what they will do normally. Okay, मैं आपको बताता हूँ. See, for one company you have got two companies. Just think about it. One company is eligible for deduction. Okay. Entire profit is deducted. Second one is taxable. We'll try to do something wherein you can show the profit of the second company as profit of the first company. Correct? So that will also you will get full deduction for that profit also. Okay. So this is something like that. Okay. Chalo. Now goods are transferred from eligible to non-eligible undertaking or vice versa. There is transactions between the two. Okay. So if there is transaction between the two, then definitely there is movement of money between the two. Okay. And the profits can get compromised. Correct. And consideration for such transfer does not correspond to the market value of such goods. They are transferring the goods, but the consideration, okay, does not match up. So the way they will inflate the profit of other entities, for one profit, they will transfer some goods or something to the other entity at a high cost. Because the cost is high, the profit of the second entity will grow, will reduce. And because the first entity is purchasing it, okay, so the other way around, sorry, okay, the first entity, okay, will transfer goods to the second entity at a high price. Okay, so cost of the second will reduce, correct, and cost and profit of the first will increase. This is how they will try to move the profit of the second entity to the first one. ठीक है, तो वही हो रहा है यहाँ, समझ रहे हैं ना? बस ऐसा कुछ होगा. So assessing officer will disallow it kind of. ठीक है. What he'll do? treatment, profit and gains of eligible business shall be computed as if the transfer, ठीक है, has been made at market value of such goods as on that date. ठीक है, तो ट्रीटमेंट क्या क्या है, प्रॉफिट एंड गेन्स ऑफ एलिजिबल बिजनेस, ओके, shall be computed as if the transfer has been made at market value on that date. So whatever transaction they are showing, ठीक है, that value will not be considered, market value will be considered. ठीक है, okay. लास्ट थिंग इज ये लास्ट पॉइंट बोल रहा है, aforesaid arrangement involves a specified domestic transaction. ठीक है, so these are called arm length transaction. ठीक है, whenever you have got two related units, ठीक है, it's a little difficult to find out the real cost of any transaction between the two because both are related units, correct? So for that, what is done is you see transaction between two independent units, similar transaction between two independent units, and you take that value. ठीक है, that is called as arm length price. That's all. ठीक है, बस उतना इतना आप समझो तो बहुत है आपके लिए. ठीक है, तो specified domestic transaction means if it is a specified domestic transaction, use arm length price. ठीक है, as market price is used here you will use arm's length price. Arm length price is same transaction done by independent undertakings. That's it. ठीक है, so you will use that when you do not have a market price available here. ठीक है, okay. Chalo, so this is the first one, and then same thing now. This was between two undertakings of same SSE, right? Next one is both SSEs are independent. ठीक है, then SSE has business transactions with any other person. ठीक है, business is so arranged, ठीक है, okay, such that SSE will get more than ordinary profits. ठीक है, so the business is set up in a way that SSE will get more than ordinary profits. Why? Because SSE will get 100% deduction, so it will take more than ordinary profits, and out of that it will take the advantage in some other way later on. ठीक है, correct. So yeah, because if one is getting more than ordinary profit, the other will get that much less profit, correct? So so this is the thing similar to the first one. So the arrangement is such that SSE is getting more than ordinary profits and goods are transferred from eligible to non-eligible and undertaking or vice versa. Okay. That means there is flow of money between them. Money means flow of value kind of. Okay. So then here also assessing officer will take, computing the profits and gains, he will take only such profits as which he feels is reasonable. Okay. He'll take such profits which is reasonably be deemed to have been derived. Okay. Okay. Excess one he'll ignore. And this point is again there for arm's length transaction. Okay. There is a specified domestic transaction, then use arm's length price. Okay. So you do this when you do not have a ready market price. Okay. Chalo. Then next point is inter-unit transfer, which is section 80A. Okay. SSE carries on at least 2 units, has at least 2 units. Okay. And one is eligible for deduction, other is not eligible for deduction. Okay, same case as other. One is eligible, one is not eligible. Goods are transferred from eligible to non-eligible unit or vice versa. Okay, and consideration does not correspond to the market value. Okay, then it will be computed as if it is done at market value. Okay, transaction is done at market value. Same what we have studied in the about table. कुछ नया नहीं है इसमें. Okay, so what is market value? Okay, so market value can be, if it is a specified domestic transaction, then it will be arm's length price. It is called as ALP in short. Okay. If it is specified, अगर ये नाम आया ना specified domestic transaction, and just understand it's between related entities. Okay, then you use arm's length price as market value. Okay, or okay, or in other cases it will be price which you will get in the open market normally. Okay, okay, next is no double deduction. Okay, that we know, once you get deduction in this, you will not get any deduction in any other section. Okay, second is that deduction cannot exceed profits and gains of eligible business. Okay, maximum deduction is up to the profits, it will not be more than profits. Okay, okay. Then while computing the profits and gains of the eligible business, you will have to consider as if that is the only business. Okay, if say expenses of other business and all are included, then it will be vitiated, correct? You will not have genuine profit. So even if the SSC has 2, 3, 4 businesses, while computing the profit, you have to make sure that, okay, only only the income and expense of the eligible business only is taken into consideration, not the others. Okay, and that you have to do till the last year, till when you are taking deduction. Okay, so just take profit. Okay, and think that it was the only source of income of the SSC. Okay, think that it is the only source of income of the SSC and compute it accordingly. Just ignore all other part of business. Just take this as separate and compute. That's what this point is saying. Okay, and deduction has to be claimed. If it is not claimed in the return of income, then no deduction will be allowed. Okay, no deduction if it is not claimed. It has to be claimed. Okay, now this last point is no benefit is available. Okay, if it is in the nature of works contract means some other business has given you this contract, right? Like a subcontract kind of thing. Okay, so if it is in the nature of works contract given by anyone including central or state government, okay, then you will not get deduction under this section. Okay, you should be the owner of the contract. Okay, should not have got a part as works contract. Okay, so you have to be the owner of the contract. Okay, chalo. So this one next is deduction in respect of profit and gains by an undertaking engaged in development of SEZ. ठीक है? This is 80 IAB. जो हमने जो पहले जो पढ़ा था earlier, which we had seen what? ठीक है? We had seen development. ठीक है? And एक minute, 1 minute. I think. Yeah, okay, that's fine, right? ठीक है? So. Okay, so earlier we had seen where you had 3 points. Okay, you had developing, okay, developing and maintaining, okay, and only maintaining. Okay, वो जो 3 point वाला था, that provision that is under 80 IA. ठीक है, वो under 80 IA है, तो आपको as such कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा आपको कि आपको you don't have to quote the section. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये वाला सेक्शन मैं पहले बता देता हूँ. I'll first take you through the section and then I'll tell you the difference between the special economic zone which is mentioned here and earlier which we had seen. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे it's applicable to all SSC. ठीक है, business of developing SEZ. ठीक है, and it should be notified on or after 1/4/2005 under Special Economic Zones Act 2005. Okay, and development has begun before 1/4/2017. ठीक है, these are some of the conditions here. जैसे मैं बोला हूँ आपको कि do not focus too much on the dates. ठीक है, deduction is 100% of the profit, again 10 out of 15 years. Okay, ठीक है, ये तो same है. Okay, so ठीक है, where a developer transfers operation and maintenance to another developer, ठीक है. If someone was doing operation and maintenance is transferring to another developer, ठीक है, he can claim deduction for the remaining period, ठीक है. The second person who has taken, he can claim for the remaining period, ठीक है. Now after the date of application of this section, no deduction shall be available under 80IA, ठीक है, for SEZ notified on or after 1/4/2005, ठीक है. So any SEZ which is notified on or after 1/4/2005, ठीक है, उसमें उनके लिए ये वाला कंडीशन लगेगा. ओके, सेक्शन 80 IAB, okay, this will hold good for those SEZs which has been notified on or after 1/4/2005, okay. Or no, if deduction is allowed here, then no deduction under any other provisions, ठीक है, ये तो हमको मालूम ही है, ठीक है. So आपके लिए what should you do basically, ठीक है. You don't worry about जो whatever deduction is there for SEZ, whether it is under 80 IA or it is under 80 IAB, you don't have to worry. You just go by the conditions, ठीक है. Conditions are same in both, ठीक है. Here the main condition is your quantum of deduction, ठीक है. 100% of profit in 10 out of 15 years, ठीक है, which is the same here also and there also. Okay, so then इसमें क्या क्या ये main है, because here also there we had, जैसे मैंने बोला था आपको, you had developing and maintaining, ठीक है, और only maintaining, ठीक है. This developing, maintaining and operating, और third was only maintaining or operating. Okay, वो तीन conditions वहां थे. Okay, here although it has not been specified like that specifically, but यहाँ भी you have for all three, ठीक है. यहाँ पे भी देखिए development तो लिखा ही है यहाँ पे. Okay, so it is there for developing, and as you can see when you read the section, okay, here you say developer transfers the operation or maintenance. That means here itself it is clear that the deduction is there for developing, operating or maintenance, ठीक है. Only main thing you have to remember is ये जो है ना, this is for SEZ notified on or after 1/4/2005, ठीक है. If there is any earlier deduction, that would have been covered under 80 IA, but as of now this section has been notified 80 IAB. SEZ के all deductions now, currently all deductions, if SEZ comes, it will be under these rules, ठीक है. बस इतना ही है, और कुछ आपको you don't have to think about anything more. और आपको देखना भी है, एक मिनट में आपको just I'm taking you up to that point just to remove all doubts, ठीक है. Just going up. This is power generation, transmission, ठीक है. And now here we will get to see industrial park or special economic zone. इसीलिए actually basically what they should have done is they should have put both sections together, तो उससे ठीक है थोड़ा easy हो जाता था. It would have been. Now ये जो है आपका nature of business, ये ना, ये मैं बोल रहा था developing and operating, maintaining, operating, ठीक है. There also it is the same. Okay, और यहाँ पे जो है आपको ये पीरियड दिया गया है. ओके, हियर दे हैव गिवन दिस पीरियड, ठीक है. हियर यू कैन सी दैट फॉर स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन 1/4/2001 to 31/3/2006. Okay, so between this period only you could get deduction here under this section. Deduction क्या, it is same as that, ठीक है. तो फर्क कुछ पड़ नहीं रहा आपको. that this was the earlier section, then SEZ Act got notified. When SEZ Act got notified, 80 IAB को demarcate कर दी separately. Okay, so just demarcated it separately. That's all. So after this date, ये वाला date range के बाद जो after SEZ was demarcated in 2005, उसके बाद then whatever deductions are there, it has gone to 80 IAB. सेक्शन को डिमार्केट किया गया. ओके, दैट्स ऑल व्हिच इज इंपॉर्टेंट. और जो आप कर रहे हो, ये जब बता रहे हो यू डू दिस डिडक्शन एंड ऑल, ठीक है, You don't need to write all sections and all that. ठीक है, if question में section दिया गया then write it, otherwise don't write. Okay, so यही बात है. ठीक है, यहाँ पे जो है ये बताया गया था, ये जो सेंटेंस है ना, this sentence here, from the date of application of 80 IAB, ठीक है, no deduction shall be available under 80 IA. So this will be stopped. यहाँ पे anyway the date is there, right? ये तो इतने ही तक है, it is still here. So beyond this, it will be available in 80 IAB. But what is the difference in the nature of deduction? It is the same. Both are exactly the same. Here also 100% of the profit in 10 out of 15 years. There also it is the same. ठीक है? I hope it is clear now. मैंने इसलिए एक बार ऊपर लाके आपको बता दिया, just so that you would know the difference. I'll be down now again. ठीक है? This is IAB section which we did just now. Quantum of deduction is this much. Okay, and this section is again, this line is again repeated here. From the date of application of section, no deduction under 80 IA. Okay. So this is there, and where deduction is allowed under this section, no deduction under any other section. That we know, right? Already. So ये चलिए, ये हो गया ये points, and then all other points. ठीक है. So return of income you should the return of income should be in time, audit report. ठीक है, all these same provisions as 80 IA. 80 IA में जो हमने whatever form we have seen in 80 IA, ठीक है, it is all the same for return on income and audit report. ठीक है, just copy and paste. Okay, and power of assessing officer to recompute profit wherever जहाँ जहाँ धांधली हो रहा है. Okay, there are 2 units, the table we saw, right? 2 units of the same SSC, or say even if there are 2 businesses of different people. Okay, but if there is something happening by which profit is getting inflated, okay, assessing officer can recompute profit. Same provision, same. वो एक बार पढ़ लिए, यहाँ भी हो गया आपका. ठीक है, same thing repeat. Okay, and no deduction if it has not been claimed. Deduction has to be claimed. This also is same, you studied there also. Okay, last is profit from business is the only, compute it as if the profit, that business is the only source of income. That pair also we saw there, right? This is also same as that. ये point बिल्कुल ही total copy paste from 80 IA. ठीक है? This para is complete copy paste from 80 IA. Okay? चलो, I think now we can go to the next point, which is deduction in respect of eligible startup. This is 80 IAC. Okay? आपको थोड़ा सा टफ लग रहा होगा, टफ कुछ नहीं है इसमें. You just need to acclimatize once. So just see the lecture 2 times. I think 2 times will be enough for you to get it fully, and that too once you do the first section 80 IA, all others will become very easy because the conditions are similar. Okay, so this is for an eligible startup. Startups are comparatively smaller businesses. ठीक है, people who are starting new businesses, but it has got some good innovation or that kind of potential. So that is called as startup, eligible startup. Okay, so इसमें, so it is applicable to an eligible startup. ठीक है, what is eligible startup? It can be a company or LLP. Okay, engaged in eligible business which fulfills below conditions. ठीक है, so basically company or LLP in eligible business fulfilling conditions, incorporated on or after 1/4/2016 but before 1/4/2022. ठीक है, so it has to end by the end of our current previous year, that is 31/3/2022. ठीक है, right? So this is yeah, first thing, incorporated during this date. Total turnover should be up to 100 crore, not more than that. Okay, so total turnover of the previous year, for whichever previous year you are claiming deduction. Okay, that previous year total turnover, ठीक है, it has to be up to 100 crore. It should not exceed 100 crore. ठीक है, so basically normally जैसे आप देखेंगे ना कि 100 crore, yeah, it is from our point of view it is a big amount, yes, but from a business point of view, you can 100 crore turnover is not a very big amount. Okay, from a business point of view. Okay, so these are for relatively smaller businesses who have started afresh. Okay. Third thing is it holds a certificate of eligible business from notified interministerial board of certification. ये चीज याद रखना है. Okay, remember this. It holds a certificate of eligible business. So it must have that eligible business certificate from notified interministerial board of certification. ठीक है? So ये है, and then what is eligible business again? It means a business carried out by an eligible startup engaged in innovation, development, or improvement of products, okay, processes or services, or a scalable business model with a high potential of employment generation or wealth creation. Okay? Some new ideas and all, and they have to get certificate from notified interministerial board. Okay? If they get certificate, then they will become an eligible business, otherwise not. Okay. चलो ठीक है. So then चलो conditions to be satisfied. ठीक है. So these are all then अभी यहाँ से जो है पूरा आपका 80 repetition is there. Nothing you are going to learn. जो भी हमने whatever we have studied here in this section 80 IAC. ठीक है. This is the only thing which we have studied. यहाँ बस इतना ही हमने पढ़ा है इसमें. Otherwise there is nothing. The whole thing is repetition. ठीक है. यहाँ से. So first thing is conditions is SSC should be engaged in eligible business, that we know. Should be a new business, not formed by splitting or reconstruction. ठीक है. Right? So हमने what we had seen in 80IA, not formed by splitting or reconstruction. So new business basically. ठीक है. But new business is not required. Exceptions. We had seen that in previous point, if you remember, it is discontinued because of flood, typhoon, hurricane, riot, civil disturbance, accidental fire. ठीक है. Right? Same point is there exactly. ये पूरा point same. Action by enemy action. ठीक है. Right? Same point. And then it is such businesses re-established before the end of 3 years from the end of the previous year in which damage is caused. Same point. Okay. Exactly same. ठीक है. Then new plant and machinery. This point is also exactly same. वहाँ पे भी था, right? There was new plant and machinery, and we had said that new it will be considered as new even if it is imported to India. It was used there and imported to India. Okay? And in India, no one has got depreciation so far. Depreciation has not been allowed. SSC is the first user, correct? If you remember. So exactly same points repeated. Okay? And then last point also, total value of plant and machinery transferred to new business does not exceed 20% of total value, correct? Same point. Okay? So then this condition is satisfied. So ये पूरा section, this entire section is repeated. Now only quantum of deduction is little different because now this business is not, this is a new startup. It's not as huge as your infrastructure businesses and all. Okay. So इसीलिए इसमें it will not get 10 out of 15 years and all. ठीक है. So but again 100% of profit for 3 years out of 10 years commencing from year in which eligible startup is incorporated. Yeah, याद रखना. Okay. This is from the year of incorporation you will get. Not that is from the year it becomes operational. It is there for all above sections. In this sections, it is you will get from the year of incorporation. Okay. Any 3 years you can choose out of 10 years. Okay, consecutive years. बस ये difference है. But here it is 3 out of 10 years, and just different thing is from the year of incorporation. Here it is. ठीक है. Not operation, not from when it has started operation. ठीक है. Then these 5 points again total repetition. ठीक है. ये previous section में हमने देखे थे. Same is there. Okay. No deduction in under any other section. Here no deduction under any other section. Okay. Audit report and return of income same 80IA. Refer that. Okay. Power of assessing officer to recompute profit same as 80IA. No deduction allowed if the deduction has not been claimed. So it has to be claimed. Here also same. And compute profit as if it is the only source of income. Okay. When you compute it, you have to compute as it the only source of income. Same repetition. कहाँ से repetition? I'll just show you. I'm going up. ठीक है. See, यहाँ तक जो है ना, this section till here only you have got new things in this section. ठीक है, यहाँ से यहाँ तक बस इतना ही. There is new. Below this, entire thing is repeated. Word to word repeated. Only profit is 3 out of 10 years. That's the only difference. Otherwise, from here and down, whole thing is repeated. यहाँ से जो है, whatever you have from here to the end of the section, fully repeated. Okay. चलो. So next is section 80 IB. Okay. This deduction for profit and gains from certain industrial undertakings other than infrastructure development undertakings. Okay. So infrastructure development undertakings are covered up. Okay. In 80 IA and all that. So that is excluded. So other than that, this is for some other undertakings. Okay. So available to undertakings engaged in, one is industrial undertaking, but which is not covered under 80 IA, 80 IAB, okay, and 80 ISC. So it should not be covered under infrastructure development undertakings. It is other industrial undertaking, okay. Okay. Two is mineral oils, and third is processing, preservation, and packaging of eatables like food, fruits, vegetables, okay, meat, okay, and handling, storage, and transportation of food grains, all eating stuff, okay, right? So processing, preservation of food, fruits, vegetables, meat, or food grains, okay. Yeah, these are the business which are covered under 80 IB, okay. And what is industrial undertaking? जो हमने यहाँ पे we have said industrial undertaking, okay. So what is that? That is defined here, okay. It's applicable to all SSC, okay. Applicable to all kind of SSC, okay. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हम सब ये जो कर रहे हैं, ये जो तीन चीजें हमने वेट सीन, राइट. So now we are covering about the first one, which is industrial undertaking, okay. Here it's applicable to all SSC. Conditions to be satisfied. Now this is important, okay. Conditions to be satisfied. Nature of business should be, okay, manufactures or produce article or thing. It has to manufacture something, manufacture or produce articles or thing, but exclude 11 schedule items. 11 schedules are little low priority manufacturing, okay. So exclude 11 schedule items. And if your undertaking is located in Jammu and Kashmir, okay, then you have to exclude items of part C of 13 schedules. Part C of 13 schedules, things like cigarette, liquor, etc. Okay, cigarette, liquor, those kind of things are there in there. Okay, for generally, so it has to manufacture and produce any article or thing, basic, okay, except 11 schedule items. And if it is in Jammu and Kashmir, 11 schedule items will be excluded, plus part C of 13 schedules, that is the cigarettes, liquor, those things will also be excluded. Okay, so first nature of business is what? Manufactures or produce any article or thing, okay. And second is operates cold storage plant, okay. And manufacture is defined here, okay. This is just a general definition. Transformation of object or article into new and distinct object, okay, having different name, character, and use, or bringing up in existence an altogether new and distinct object or article with different chemical composition or integral structure. Okay, new thing should come into exist. You can transform an existing thing into a new thing, or altogether you can prepare a new thing. Okay, both are manufactured. ठीक है, just simple sentence में सब याद रखना है सब, just in simple sentences. Okay. So next point says manufacture does not include dams and all that. Okay, it does not include construction of dam, bridge, road. ठीक है, building, all this infrastructure. These are all infrastructural things, correct? So of course we know that this section doesn't cover infrastructure. Okay, and for undertaking in Jammu and Kashmir, it should not produce 11th schedule as well as part C of 13th schedule. So what is there in part 3 of 13th schedule? Okay, for part 3 of 13th schedule, you have these items: cigarettes, etc., and alcoholic drinks, aerated beverages, and the concentrates like Pepsi and all. Okay, okay. So, however, now following undertakings may produce any article specified in 11th schedule. Okay. So 11th schedule items should not be prepared, but there is an exception for two types of industries, okay, who can manufacture 11th schedule items. Okay. One is small scale industrial undertaking, and industrial undertaking in industrially backward state or union territories. Okay. Such list is there in the 8th schedule. छोड़ो आप इतना schedule इतना सारे सब याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं. Okay, don't need to. You just need to know the gist here. Okay, ठीक है. चलो, then it should be a new business not found by splitting or reconstruction. Same. ठीक है, exception to new business, same which we have studied earlier. ठीक है. Okay, that is your flood, typhoon and all that. ठीक है, that exception. The new plant and machinery, okay, that exception again is the same, that if you have imported it, although it is used outside, but in India you are the first person to get depreciation, then it is new. Okay, ये सब same है बिल्कुल. All these things are repeated. Then number of worker, there is a specification of number of workers undertaking manufacturing articles or thing with the aid of power, without the aid of power. With the aid of power, minimum workers should be 10. Without aid of power, minimum workers should be 20. Only then you will get deduction. Okay, ठीक है. चलो, ये नेक्स्ट जो है आपका, these are all starting dates of various businesses. Okay, इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा कि यहाँ पे इतने सारे dates हैं. Just don't need to remember any of these dates, either above or here. ठीक है, ये सब आपको पूछेंगे ही नहीं. This is, nobody can remember all these dates. ठीक है, so no need to remember all these dates. ठीक है, तो ये सब बस ये just it has been split into all points, जो ऊपर जो points दिए हैं, all that dates are mentioned here. Okay, cold storage for agricultural produce, small scale undertaking, etc. ठीक है, तो इसमें ये वाले पॉइंट में कुछ देखने के लिए कुछ है नहीं. Okay, let's see the quantum of deduction. Now this is important for you. Okay, this is important. Quantum of deduction. This is the undertaking, nature of undertaking. It's deduction where undertaking is owned by, here it is company, cooperative society, and any other person. Okay, ठीक है, just remember these deductions. ठीक है, these are important. So located in industrially backward state, located in industrially backward district of category A, category and all, ये सब उतना सोचने की जरूरत नहीं. Okay, don't think that much into it. Operating cold chain facility for agricultural produce, or for all these things you have, this is the deduction. ठीक है, ये deduction है, this is the deduction for all three. What is it? देखेंगे here 100% for first 5 years and 30% for the next 5 years. ठीक है, 100% and 30%. Here 100% for 5, 25% for the next 7 years. Okay, here again 100% for 5, 25% for next 5. Okay, got it? बस यही आपको ध्यान में रखना है. I'll just put my charger. Next is industrial located in any backward district. ठीक है, of category A. You got category A here it is category B. Okay, ठीक है. Then it is 100%. इसके लिए क्या है हमारा? These are the, okay. This is same as above. Okay, this and this is same. So yani basically, okay, so this and this is same. Okay, exactly 5. Sorry, it's not same. Sorry, जो है इसमें जो है, this is first 100% for 5 years, 30 for 5 years. Here it is 100 for 3 years and 30 for 5 years. Okay, little difference is there. This is 100 for 5 years, 25 for 7 years. This is 100 for 3 years, 25 for 9 years. This is 100 for 5 years, 25 for 5 years. This is 100 for 3 years, 25 for next 5 years. Okay. Last is any other undertaking, including small scale undertaking. This is the residual section. Okay, residual part, और इसमें it is directly 30% for 10 years. ठीक है, 25% for 12 years और 25% for 10 years. ठीक है, straight up. बस ये है. तो ये काम आ सकता है. This table can be useful. So ठीक है, ये ऊपर का this date and all, just ignore it fully. Okay, don't go for dates at all in any of these sections. ठीक है, चलो. Then so whenever work begins, from then you will start getting deduction. ठीक है, deduction shall be commenced from the assessment year. ठीक है, so from the assessment year relevant to the previous year. Okay, in which for industrial undertaking it begins to manufacture, cold storage begins its operation. Okay, so when जब काम करना start हो जाता है, when it starts working, from that year you will start getting the deduction. Okay, and there's one more different point for notified industries in northeast. ठीक है, deduction is available 100% of profit for 10 years. ठीक है, for certain notified industries in northeast. ठीक है, okay. And इसका जो deduction है, ये वाला, this is not very important. Reason being, deduction is not available from AY 2004-5. ठीक है, so even if someone would have claimed before that, now I don't think there will be anyone who will be claiming deduction under this 80IC. ठीक है, it only has historical significance. Okay, बस इतना ही है. And then cold chain facility definition is same which we have seen before. ठीक है, facility for storage or transportation of agricultural produce in scientifically controlled conditions. ठीक है, or refrigeration etc. ठीक है, for preservation. That is your cold storage. ठीक है, चलिए. Okay, so now this is the last now. ठीक है, ये है. So from this point, mineral oils, which is 80 IB. Okay, here एक देख लेते हैं. चलो इसको भी, I think यहाँ पे हो जाएगा ये. This is ठीक है. So this is for mineral oils. Okay, applicable to all SSC. ठीक है. So nature of business is production and refining of mineral oil in India. Okay, and time that it has to start commercial production in this time ranges. So again, ignore this. ठीक है, okay, you can just ignore this part कि कब से it has to start. चलिए, और ये हो गया. So this ये है, don't see that. अब ये is not important. ठीक है, इसको you can ignore it. ये सब these are just too much of detailings. ये है. ठीक है, so this part को इसको छोड़ो आप. Okay, next just come to quantum of deduction. Okay, so 100% of the profit for 7 consecutive years, starting from when it commences commercial production. Okay, or starts refining the oil. ठीक है, so 100% of profits for 7 consecutive years. ये important है इस section में for mineral oil. Okay, इस section में what is important, only you have to remember दिस थिंग, इसमें बस ये इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके लिए, ओके, ओनली दिस थिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट्स ऑल, ओके, right? And next is processing, preservation, packaging of fruits, vegetables, meat, storage of fruit grains, ठीक है? This is also applicable to all SSC, ठीक है? इस सब में आपको इसकी जरूरत नहीं है, you don't need sections and all, ठीक है? So ये है, now again here conditions to be satisfied. Undertaking is engaged in what? Business of processing, preservation and packaging of fruits or vegetables or meat products, poultry, all that, ठीक है? और handling, storage and transportation of food grain, same what you have seen before, ठीक है? Commencements of operations, again ये date को आप छोड़ो, ठीक है? Date important नहीं है सब चीजों में, ठीक है? ओके, इसमें से अब जो कर रहे हैं ना हम अभी, इसमें से बहुत सारी चीजें हैं which only have got historical significance. Right now the deduction period is over now, ठीक है? ओके, तो इसीलिए इसका सब जो है, इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि ये सब चीजें उतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, इसमें सिर्फ आपको कुछ, यू जस्ट हैव टू नो सम बेसिक थिंग्स लाइक दिस क्वांटम ऑफ डिडक्शन इज समथिंग यू शुड नो, ओके? ये है फर्स्ट 5 years 100%, next 5 years 25%, 30% in case of company, okay, or of profits, ठीक है? अब यहाँ पे आप देखोगे, जैसे मैं बताता हूँ कितना है, 10 years, ठीक है? फर्स्ट 5, नेक्स्ट 5 मींस 10 years, करेक्ट? और यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे तो बिजनेस बिगिंस टू ऑपरेट हियर, दिस इज 2001, ओके, और दिस इज 2009, ठीक है? यहाँ से बिजनेस हैज बिगन टू ऑपरेट, सो ऑलरेडी 10 years उनके जो है दैट वुड हैव एक्सपायर्ड बाय नाउ, ये अभी करंट कंपनीज को दे वुड नॉट बी गेटिंग दिस डिडक्शन, इसीलिए द इंपॉर्टेंस लेवल इज लिटिल लेस फॉर दैट, ओके, ठीक है? तो अब चलिए, अभी ये लास्ट पार्ट होगा हमारा ये पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सीरीज का. नेक्स्ट इज हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स, दैट विल बी इन नेक्स्ट लेक्चर, ओके? अदर पॉइंट्स एप्लीकेबल फॉर अंडरटेकिंग कवर्ड अंडर 80 IB, ठीक है? ऑल अंडर जी, ये पूरा हमारा पहले जो किया था वही, रिटर्न ऑफ इनकम एंड टाइम, ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, असेसिंग ऑफिसर कैन रिकम्प्यूट, ऑल इज सेम फॉर दिस IA सीरीज, ठीक है? For all IA series, these points are common. Double deduction not allowed, computation of profit for eligible business, ठीक है? And deduction must be claimed in the return of income, ठीक है? Computation of profit में क्या है? Just think that it is a separate business and compute profit. Okay, तो चलो यहाँ पे हमारा ये मेन हो गया है. Very little is left, ठीक है? Yeah, I will post this going from 80 IBA to the end, ठीक है? Very little is left. I think just one more lecture, that too short one, will be required for this one, ठीक है? So which is I would say 1 hour lecture probably will do now, ठीक है? So either I will record it today itself, यही आज ही कर देंगे, या otherwise I will do it on some other day, ठीक है? I'll try to complete your some other stuff now, ठीक है? So let's see. So यहाँ से we have to continue, okay? Almost एक आपका major part is over now. I think deductions chapter is over to the extent of 90%, I can see, okay? चलो then, okay, fine.